Welcome to episode 80 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I am Ben Briggs. It's Saturday. It's not Saturday, people. Let's not lie to ourselves. It's Monday right now. Sorry, it is late again. There was a few more technical hitches going on with the old podcast. I just couldn't get the recorder to work, which was a bit fucking shit. And there was a mass amount of noise outside yesterday, on the 9th when I was going to do it, because I don't know what they're doing. They're doing some sort of building work or something like that. I don't know. I know there's a bit of hiss in the background. Sorry about that as well, because I'm still doing it just through the H4n on the fucking... Not that this means a lot to you people. I know, just on the inbuilt mics on that. So... there's going to be a bit of shit. And also the fucking yesterday, when I was like trying to do the podcast as well, I was building work. I'm just making excuses. I know this. The fucking maids were like bang outside my room hoovering. So it wasn't the best. But we're getting them out still, people. We're getting them out. And it's my last fucking day. Last day in New York. Today, so I fly back later on today. I've got 2 hours left in this room to upload everything and fucking pack up. This is the worst bit. This is the worst bit about going on holiday right now. The worst bit about this is I know I have to be out of the room by 12. I'll get a taxi to the airport, get there about 1:30, because it's a fucking hour away. Or whatever, JFK. Hey Ben, it's not an hour away, it's less than that. It's about an hour, alright? And then you're fucking waiting around at the airport, and I ain't gonna get back until UK time. My flight's about 6 o'clock tonight. So I'll get to the airport about 1, hang around there for about 5 hours, get on the plane, and then fly back, and then I get back tomorrow afternoon in the UK. So it's going to be a fucking long old trek. But luckily, hopefully, again, I can just snooze like a little baby on the plane. But on the way back. But this is the worst fucking thing, because you've got to pack up all your shit. Everything's gone. You just want... This is where teleportation would be a fucking godsend to me right now. Just teleport to back home, so I can get back in Briggs Towers and start doing the podcast again with a little more clarity and not a fucking humming sound in the background. There's a fucking little hummingbird on my shoulder. So that's my day I've got planned for today, travelling back to jolly old fucking England. Let's have a little bit of water. We're on water. I'll tell you why we're on water today. Because rather than tea or coffee or anything else, it's because the fucking... I don't know what it is about the heating systems. The central heating, the fucking aircon, whatever it is. The air blowers in here. Jesus Christ, they make you fucking thirsty. It's like a Sahara wind coming across. I've just realised as well that the fucking... Oh, Jesus, I've just realised the fucking TV's on. But I was watching a film, so all the credits are running in silence, and then as soon as the film ends, it's going to come on loud. So let's pause this a minute, hang on. Sorry, I had to pause that then for a minute, because I knew it was good. I'm sitting right next to the TV at the fucking desk, and it's just going to blast out. I've got to get this planned better, I think, when I go away again, so we can get the podcast like a little bit better quality and shit. But whilst I'm away, the heating systems over here are they just fucking make you thirsty all the time. It's probably because they charge a fucking fortune for anything in New York. If you're ever coming over, sell your fucking house. Everything is fucking expensive over here. Everything fucking costs a fortune. You know, like, it's London prices, but when you pay, and then you have to, it's probably London prices, and then you have to fucking tip on top of that. So you've got to, like, you think like I think it was about $8 for a pint of Guinness I had at the bar the other night, and then we've got to give like a $1-2 tip on top of that, just so you don't look a stingy fucking British bastard. But yeah, so that's why it's called New York, New York, because somebody has figured out like it costs to name things out here, and if they can charge you double by calling the place New York, New York. That's probably why it's called that. So good, they charge you fucking twice. But apart from that, it's been alright. The food's fucking amazing out here. The little delis and shit like that. They do a good vegetarian options, man, for pussies like me. But yeah, let's have a bit more water. Jesus, my fucking mouth is as dry as anything. I won't say the usual thing that everybody says. Something about Gandhi's flip-flop. I imagine that's not appropriate these days. Yeah. So yeah, basically what I've been up to, I've been gigging and that the last few days. It was my birthday yesterday. Holy shit, Ben. 43 now. Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday. So I had a little look around at some shit. Went up to Central Park, and they had like some sort of marathon. I don't think it was the New York Marathon. I don't think it was that big, but there was some sort of marathon going on, which was basically people running around Central Park on a Sunday morning. I don't know where else it went, but it was like people like just running around Central Park, looking exhausted, and every now and again there'd be crying women walking. That was bad. I'd never noticed that in a marathon before. People who had been defeated by the running, mainly women. I didn't see any crying men, so it was all women I saw, but I must have saw about 20-25 just crying, broken women. It was like a procession of ex-girlfriends just running around Central Park, just crying because they'd been defeated by the run. That's the big thing out here. That's the thing I've noticed about the society out here, the American society. Hang on a minute. There might be somebody at the door. No, it was just somebody knocking on. Not that I was worried about being whisked off by the FBI then. It was just somebody knocking the door opposite. You get to see through your little peephole there, don't you? To be, incognito as you're watching other people down the corridors and shit. Yeah, that's the one thing I've noticed about society here. Everything has to have an emotional edge to it. Do you know what I mean? Like everything has to be done with an emotional reason, or it needs an emotional backstory. It's like the last rounds of what is it, like Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent. That's what like the society is here. Everything is geared towards that emotional journey that people are going on all the time, constantly. Whereas British society is more like the first rounds of Britain's Got Talent or America's Got Talent or whatever country's got talent. British society is like the first round of that, like where you get your mentals and people laughing at the fucking idiots who are on there. I don't even think they have. I haven't watched America's Got Talent ever. I don't watch Britain's Got Talent, but we're all aware of like the first rounds when you get the fucking mentalists on there, and that is British society. That is like, we like a fucking, a fucking moron, a fucking idiot. We like to take the piss out of those people. Whereas American society, everything is geared towards the emotional backstory behind it, which you get in the later rounds of those sort of things. They've always fleshed out the emotional story. I tell you what, this is I'll give you an example. I was watching there was a show on like TV the other day, and it was a fly fishing show. So back in England, it would be like kind of what Bob Mortimer and fucking Paul Whitehouse do, or what for older school people out there, it'd be like what John Wilson. Do you remember John Wilson? Oh, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. But I was watching this fishing program. I know I'm in New York watching a fishing program. Yeah, I know this. I'm not living the New York dream. Although I've seen quite a bit of stuff, to be honest. Just to clarify, but there was this fly fishing show on, and then they're just talking and fly fishing and picking out shit like that. And then the presenter starts talking to the guy he's with, or he's a member of the public, and he goes, and then the emotional bit stuff starts. He goes, so how'd you get into fly? Well, my daddy was a fly fisherman, and my daddy's dead, and on his deathbed, I said to my daddy, I said, I'm gonna fish some fucking fish for you, daddy. And he said, you fish those fish. It's like that sort of shit, you know what I mean? And then, but as he's talking, this emotional music just fucking wells up underneath, and he starts fucking crying and fucking, you know, talking about his dad. And then the next geezer who he has on, he's got an emotional story about being in Afghanistan and being saved by somebody. I was saved by this guy, and I trained this guy, and I first failed this guy, and I misjudged that guy, and I learned a lot about myself that day, not to judge people. And that it's all about fucking some sort of fucking emotional self-improvement that every single... Sorry, Americans out there listening to this. We do get listeners in America as well. I'm not talking about you. Hey, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about everybody else, man. But it's a big emotional sort of like self-help fucking culture. And if you haven't got that fucking mindset, then you're fucking out. It's like a club. It's really, really fucking interesting just talking to people, how they define themselves differently from people in the UK. They want to tell, if they're successful, they want to tell you what they're doing immediately, whereas obviously British people are a little bit more tight-lipped, a little bit less sort of you know, all about what you're doing and how successful you are and things like that. I mean, obviously we get our bullshitters and that sort of thing in the UK, but it's just, it seems very geared towards everybody going on an emotional journey, and they're learning a lot about themselves, and then holding their hands up saying, this is the person I was, but now I'm this fucking person here. Yeah, it's very, very fucking interesting and fucking uncomfortable a little bit as well, because obviously we're not used to those sort of people, you know, sharing their fucking emotions and sharing, you know, this whole long backstory about everything. But yeah, it's fucking interesting. I do love the fucking city. I really, really do like it. It's hustle and bustle, but once you get out to somewhere like Central Park, and that's just fucking lovely. Walking around there, like yesterday, I went up to Central Park. They got a fucking little bit where John Lennon got his head blown off by his fucking favourite fan, Strawberry Fields, and it's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. It's strawberry. I said this to somebody yesterday. It's more strawberry punnet or strawberry patch, really. But you go up there, and even there, that's one thing. This is one thing I've noticed as well. Selfie culture is fucking huge out here. It's fucking huge. You think it's bad back in the UK with people fucking just stopping in front of you and like taking a selfie. Maybe there's more things to see here. But even around London, people aren't just fucking, you know, like every 2 yards taking a fucking picture or taking a fucking selfie. I know there's more to see than my hometown over here. But Jesus, man. I don't know, as well, there was like, it was quite interesting. My mum came out here like just before Christmas, and she said, I'll go to Strawberry Fields and have a look around there, and told us more or less where it was. And there's like a mosaic on the ground that's like a round mosaic, and it just says like imagine in it. And she goes, oh, it's really like people, when we were there, people were like laying flowers and things like that at it. When I went yesterday, there was somebody lying down on the fucking ground next to the words imagine on this big mosaic, and holding their phone in the air and taking a fucking selfie on it. Some young fucking kid. So you got a different... It shows a generational gap there between the reverence that the older generation hold John Lennon in, and the younger generation just going, just like the words imagine. I'm going to stare up at the sky with the words imagine next to me, and that'll make a good picture that I can post on Facebook. Like that. As everybody's standing around this thing, somebody just fucking lies down. Jesus. They needed fucking dragging off by the feet and, you know, just throwing off that rock thing in the middle of the park. But, yeah, it just goes to show that. I guess the fucking Bulls are doing that. And they were fucking American. I think they were, like, from California or something like that. I don't know. I didn't ask them. Everybody fucking hated them. I wasn't going to talk to them. It's very strange walking around a city on your own as well. You kind of get... It's quite nice in some respects, because you kind of... You can sort of like, you know, everybody leaves you alone. People are going about their business and shit like that. The only thing is... there's a coffee place downstairs, like obviously in the hotel, like a coffee bar. It's like a coffee morning in the morning, and then it coffee place in the morning, and then it goes into a sort of like bar at night. It's basically a bar, but it serves coffee before 12. The only thing about that I haven't liked or whatever, I know people do this and shit like that, and it's nice of them, but it's fucking uncomfortable. When you've gone there sort of like every day, and then yesterday hey my friend, how's it going? Hey, you look after this guy, he's a good guy. Like fucking talking to the other guy behind the counter, and they were going and I was like, I'm not really that much of a good guy, me old buddy, to be perfectly honest with you. Not really that much. But hey, you look after my man here, Tony. You look after him. He comes down, he has a coffee every day. What are you having today, sir? Is it a latte, sir? Is that what you want? Hey, Tony, get this latte. Get this guy a latte. It's just a bit fucking uncomfortable, man. It's a little bit over the top. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just feels, So, I'm contemplating going to another coffee place today. One where I can be anonymous. That's it. Just one where I can be anonymous and just walk in, get a fucking coffee, and just go without having to sort of like, you know, kind of engage in conversation and shit like that. Saying that, I've only got a couple of hours left here, so I might just save it until the airport, to be honest. With what money I have left, I've spent a fucking fortune out here, I'm not going to lie to you. And it's mainly been on food and shit. Whatever you think you need in New York, you need twice that amount. It's fucking everything, man. Everything's an add-on. Wi-Fi, no free Wi-Fi at the hotel, and then like various other... I've gone through this already. But go to Central Park if you ever come. That's really cool. That was cool walking around there and shit. It's almost like little tracks going through it. it's sort of like split up into areas. So you've got the first area that's quite open and shit like that. From the end I was coming from anyway. And then baseball pitches, I think, or softball pitches or something. And then you've got the bit, or like there's a big rock thing, and then it's almost like a little wilderness walk where you walk through like these little wooded areas and shit like that. It's fucking lovely though. It's really, really fucking nice. And then you've got like roads going through it and stuff. I think Richmond Park's a little bit like that, where you can actually drive through the fucking park. Yeah, Richmond's the ones with all the fucking deer and shit in it, so they scatter. But yeah, it's been alright. Gigs wise, it's been pretty good, to be honest. I've been doing new stuff, so you never know too much how that's going to go across. So I've resisted the urge. I don't know if I said this a lot on the podcast last time, but I've resisted the urge because it's a fucking easy cop-out. Any fucking foreign comedians coming to fucking England and doing stand-up. It's a fucking easy cop-out just to go, hey man, you guys do this and that's kind of like stupid, innit? But yeah, I'm foreign, man, and I can't get my head around the fact that you guys do this insert fucking behaviour that British people do. And then all the British audiences, which is fucking cringe, where they just turn around and go, oh yeah, we do fucking do that, don't we? We fucking do that. We do that thing that he just said we do. Isn't he fucking great? No, it's fucking lazy, man. It's lazy as fuck. And you're only getting away with it because you're fucking not from the UK and everybody goes, oh yes, it's fucking great that. He's from abroad and he's had a look around at us. He's taken an interest and we love him for that. Yeah, it's a bit shit. I never like to see acts like that. There's a few fucking people who do it. A few quite well-known acts who do it, who I've gigged with. No names mentioned. But yeah, it's fucking... Not all acts from abroad do that, but like... It's a particular shtick that people do when they come over. Hey, you English guys, you fucking do this. Jesus, you're probably about to guess the act from that. Sorry. Just breathed over the fucking two mics sticking up at me there. Yeah, so I've resisted the urge to do that and just done because I tell you why, because that shit doesn't work any fucking where else. You know, that doesn't fucking work anywhere else. It's all right if you know, it's not universal material. It's like resisting the urge to fucking say something about a fucking town when you go, like a local town. You know, you're doing a gig in an area and they've got a local town, and I've seen it asked thousands of times at gigs, hey, where's the local shithole area, man, so I can get them on side, man. And then everybody, like, they go, oh, it's nice to be here, I'd rather not, you know, better than being in the fucking place that's like about a mile down the road that you obviously hate because British people are like that. Yeah, it just seems a bit, I don't know, it seems a bit contrived. So I've resisted the urge from going, hey, you American guys, or in a British accent rather than that. But it is fucking, you know, it's you know, you're in a different country. Of course it's going to be a different culture, you fucking weapon. Isn't it? Of course there's going to be little, you know, nuances between our society and their society, and the US society, you know. So, but the gigs on a whole have gone alright. There's a weird thing I saw with an act the other night who did quite well and then came off and thanked God for his set. Like, literally, not a British thank God. A British thank God is thank God that went well. Jesus, thank God. We don't mean to thank God. You know, we're not like saying that to a higher power. The Americans, this guy, he damn thank God well, baby. He thanking God all the time for everything. That's got to be exhausting, isn't it? You know, he came off stage and he'd done quite well. And he decided to announce, hey, that was like when somebody said to him, you know, oh, well done, man, that was a good set, or whatever. He said, hey, it wasn't me, man, it was God. I had God on my side, and God was this, and God. Fucking hell, man. You wrote the fucking material, sunshine. Take some fucking credit for it. You know what I mean? Not unless God's on your shoulder going, what you really want to do is do this. Because you're going to be the next David Koresh. Yeah, so that was a bit odd. The odd thing, I don't know if I mentioned it last time on the podcast, another odd thing is just when you say something funny out here, like in a conversation with somebody, that's weird, because they tell you, I know I'm doing this, I know I just slagged off the fact, this is my self-awareness, people. I know I just slagged off the fact that people go to another country and then highlight the differences for comedic effect. However, this is not a gig, and I'll say what the fuck I want. Sorry about that. Every time, because I'm perched over the mics, every time I fucking breathe out heavily with a laugh or something, it's I've got no pop filter on it either. That's another thing I could have brought with me. But yeah, it's every time you make a joke. Yeah, my hypocrisy has no bounds, by the way. You know what I mean? It has no boundaries whatsoever. I'll say something and then totally just be a hypocrite by doing that exact same thing. And this is what I'm about to do now, people, so strap in. When you say something, you know, sort of like funny in a conversation, they'll go, oh my God, do you realise how funny that is? That is so funny. That's really funny. Oh, do you realise how funny that is? Yeah, I fucking just said it, man. It just happened in my mind seconds before you're now taking this approach and realising I heard it first in my head before it came out. You know, I'm aware that it's funny, me old booty, but they tell you something's funny all the time, and that's really weird. That's a really, you know, you might compliment on somebody like in the UK, like in good old jolly old fucking England, you might say that's funny, man, but not go on about it like, oh my God. But do you realise, or ask someone if they realise something's so funny? They need clarification. I hope you know. Do you realise how funny that is? Yeah, I was the one who said it, man. I was the one who said it. Let's behave ourselves and calm down a little bit. What are we on? We're on 28 minutes, people. 28 minutes, and I've got an hour and 45 left in this room, something like that. Let's have a look at the news, shall we? We'll do this, and then we'll bug out of here, as they say. This is talking about bugging out. Conspiracy theorists. Here we are. Conspiracy theorists. They're well-known people for having things right. Say they've found ancient civilizations in Antarctica. Whoa. Conspiracy theorists believe Antarctica is hiding ancient civilizations, with some truth seekers pointing to formations spotted on Google Earth to support their beliefs. They're just sitting in their hotel room, as I am now, just looking on Google Earth, saying, "Wow, that looks like a house. There's a little paddling pool out the back there." As well, conspiracy theorists claim to have found proof of ancient civilizations buried under the snow of Antarctica. Amateur, here we go, truth seekers, in inverted commas, have been scouring the continent with Google Earth using satellite imagery. I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's a technical possibility, isn't it? Like with different global changes in the weather, that now they would be buried, like being as that's how mountains fucking form in the first place, with being buried under sheets of ice. You know, the whole of Europe was at one point. I mean, like, it may have happened. Conspiracy theorists were sent into a frenzy after one Instagram drew attention to a mountain in Antarctica which bears a similarity to a face. Oh yeah, well, yeah, it does, yeah. But surely that doesn't prove civilization, does it? It's a mountain covered in snow. It may be a face, it may not be a face. Well, it's not a real face, is it? It's fucking huge. It's just the way the snow's falling. Jesus. The conspiracy theorist Blake and Brett Cousins shared the video and said it could be the remnants of an ancient civilization. Just because I'm sure if you Google Earth loads of fucking shit, there would be remnants of a fucking face billions of times, like all over, depending on how much you zoom in or zoom out, all over the world. Is that it? Is this the basis for evidence? Is it? This is why there's no conspiracy there, surely. They're just theorists. They're just theorising about whether a fucking mountain covered in snow is actually really somebody's face or not. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh that much today because it fucking feeds back. UFO enthusiasts claim to have found proof of an alien spacecraft crash landing site. Oh yeah, what's this one? What's the proof for this? Is it somebody's fucking... It looks like a bit like an arsehole. A baffling image from Google Earth shows a strange pattern in the snow, with conspiracists claiming there can only be one explanation. That's it. That's the thing about... They're ultimatums, aren't they? They look for the ultimate thing, conspiracy theorists, don't they? There's no other explanation that could happen. Not saying that, people, not that I'm against conspiracy theorists at all, because I'm a little bit like one myself, but I want more evidence than a fucking picture from Google Earth. It looks like it crashed into the mountain, and then whatever it was, drove away from the crash site. Ah, Jesus. X marks the spot. What's this one? Sorry, it's got loads of them on here. Another theory emerged that a big X appeared on the freezing contingent on Google Earth. In a video posted on YouTube, viewers are shown how a mysterious marking has been placed over Antarctica. Yeah, that's it. That would be it, I imagine. That's where the aliens are going to be landing. Or there's a big X. They've pre-done it. It's like a fucking runway, so they can see it from outer space, and they'll go, "Oh, we'll head for the big X over there." That's it. That's it. They've got it. What are we on? Oh, God. 33. 33. The reason I say, oh, God, is because I know as soon as this ends, I've got to upload it. And then I've got to be on my merry fucking way for the hell day that I've got travelling back. Hopefully, I can fucking fall asleep straight away. That would be ideal on the plane. Anyway, that is episode 80 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I shall be back tomorrow on Tuesday when I get back to the UK. I might have a little kip first and then do the podcast afterwards. We will see. If you like this, you can like, subscribe, whatever. Do whatever you do. And I shall be back tomorrow, motherfuckers, barring any horrendous plane crash. Is obviously, but if I'm not back tomorrow, because of that reason, try not to hold it against me. Take care, guys. I'll speak to you soon.